My name's Monika Karoasman. I am from here. I was born and raised in Berlin and I've lived here for pretty much my whole life. I am a fiber artist. I do all kinds of fiber art, including felting, weaving, spinning, dyeing. I used to babysit for a girl whose mother did fiber arts, particularly spinning, and I was about 12 at the time, and she introduced me to spinning, and so I've been spinning for since I was 12, so about 20 years now. So I actually had my own sheep and goats for years, so we would get mohair from our goats, and we had some Icelandic and Shetland. I do love to support, especially like hand dyers that dye. They're so much more fun to spin colorful fiber than to the whites. People don't often realize, but when you spin, you're spinning something called one ply, and so it's not very strong. It has a bias twist, and so in order to make anything stronger and to make it what we call weighted and even, so it doesn't go to one side or bias to one side if you try to use it in knitting or weaving, you have to ply it with something else. So you have to spin twice as much in order to get half the size that you want. So it takes a lot more time and materials. So if you notice on some of those yarns, they're spun with the same themselves, and then some of them are actually plied with a thinner yarn, like a thinner thread, that make them just it's a different style, it's a different type of plying, but it gives them more bulk and strength. They usually say that there's two types of spinners. There's your process spinner and your production spinner. So your process spinner, they love the process and they're not worried about what they're going to make with it later. The production spinner has a project in mind, so they're matching the yarn to the project that they have. Yeah, I always like to give myself the flexibility because I was never I'd like to make it, see what it turned out to be, and then decide what to make with it. Which also means that then I have skeins of yarn hanging around because I haven't figured out what to do with them yet. So, there's pros and cons to both sides for that one. So once I would fill this bobbin or finish with my color, I can either split it into two. So I'd want to make sure that I split it into two even balls and wind them up. Or I would do either another color or find more of this color and fill another bobbin up with it. And then I'd take them and I would spin them together, actually. And I would want to spin the wheel in the opposite direction. And that's what helps to counterbalance all of the twisting that's going clockwise. So it's very meditative. So it's relaxing, and yet you're producing something, and it's therapeutic. It's a constant of the same motions, but it's also something that you can expand and stretch your skills in. So for me right now, I'm doing what I like to call my default spinning, which is when I spin without really paying attention to it. It's where my hands are comfortable being, like they know how thin the thread should be. They know how quickly to move with my treadling. So this is kind of my default setting when I spin. If I'm working on other techniques like coils or the lumpy thick and thin arts yarns, those things I have to pay more attention to. So they're fun because I can really stretch my skills and I have to devote all of my attention to it. But this is a lot of fun when you're just watching something, or you just need a moment to, your mind can escape for a little while.